you all get that little pop-up screen that says recording in progress and you have a choice of whether to continue? What happens when you hit don't continue? I guess you're out. Like you magically just disappear. Bye-bye. I'm going to try that next time.
And see what happens.
I'm going to try that next time. Might save me some time and heartache. All right. Oh, did we lose Devery? Looks like we did. Well, now we got to wait for her to come back. Here she comes. All right, you're back.
I accidentally hit the wrong button on that myself. So.
You hit the don't continue button. Now we know what happens. Thank you for that experiment. All right. I'm going to call to order the September 27th, 2021 meeting of the City of Charleston Traffic and Transportation Committee. Thank everybody for being here, and call on Councilmember Del Chapo to lead us in an invocation or a moment of silence, please.
We'll just take a moment of silence. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. First order of business is approval of our minutes from June 14th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next on our agenda is an update on Battery Avenue. It's for Devery. Robbie, is there anything you need to say via way of introduction, or should we just hand this over to Ms. Tatoma?
I guess I'll kick it off. Devery reached out to me requesting for Battery Avenue to come to the Traffic and Transportation Committee. This is Battery Avenue is a state maintained roadway. And request for a raised crosswalk being city municipality. The DOT requires that the municipality, yes, accepts the maintenance of the device installed within our jurisdiction. So Devery will explain a little bit more about the raised crosswalk itself and where it's going, but it's coming to the committee because it's within our jurisdiction.
All right. Ms. Tatoma, the floor is yours.
Okay. Can y'all see my? Let me see if I can share my screen. Can y'all see the screen with the plan sheet?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, this project started some time ago, and it started as, what can we do to make the bikeway safer for crossing? And Charleston Moves really initiated this project. And what we looked at doing was they really wanted a hawk signal here, but the DOT would not allow a hawk signal because of the spacing requirements to the signal down where Old Town splits and the signal at Sycamore. The MUTCD, which is the federal standard, has strict guidelines that a hawk signal has to be at distance from certain signals depending on the speed limit. So we tried to look at what we could do to make that crossing safer. And we actually walked the project with a couple of city council members, some county council members, as well as Charleston Moves. We did this at night so we could look at how unsafe it was. And together we worked on this, and the best approach we could find was to go ahead and try to entice people to go from the bikeway to the Sycamore 61 to the signalized intersection there, since we couldn't do the hawk signal. So in order to do that, what we said we were going to do is replace the standard sidewalk with an 8-foot sidewalk, take them all the way basically from that bike crossing all the way down to Sycamore 61, make the intersection more robust, and add some more street lighting at this intersection so people could see them, and then lead them down Sycamore Avenue with some sharrows, and then take the sharrows all the way down Battery Avenue. So now we're going to install sharrows down Battery Avenue, and we were also going to raise the crosswalk at the existing bike path in case people do not go all the way down Sycamore to that signalized intersection. Just to make it safer for them to cross, we were going to raise this crosswalk to make it a little bit more safer, make sure cars slow down. And this is a state road, so we have to follow DOT. There's traffic calming manual, and their traffic calming manual calls for the speed limit has to be 25 or less, which it is. The volumes have to be a certain amount, which the volumes are very low, so we satisfy that requirement. And the other is a petition because they consider this a speed hump, although it's a raised crosswalk. We have to get 75% of the folks to sign saying they want this, or we can have this city transportation committee go ahead and approve the speed hump, and we don't have to worry about that petition. We have final plans on this. We're just waiting to get right away from 2 properties, and that's it. So in order to keep this going and hopefully bid this out this year, we were going to see if we could forego the petition and have you guys approve a raised crosswalk here in this location on Battery Avenue.
I'll move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second. And a second from Councilmember Brady. Any questions from any member of the committee?
Did we, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
did we at least maybe talk to Mrs. Higgins, the president of the neighborhood association over there, just to get her feedback?
We've included her, and I can forward you all the correspondence with her. I don't think they're happy with it really anything, but they were amenable to this as much as they could be. They would rather see the hawk signal there, but unfortunately we can't do that. So this is the best thing we could come up with. And like I said, I'll be more than happy to forward you the emails if you'd like to see them.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure we touch base with her. I agree with her. I would have preferred the hawk signal as well.
Right.
All
Any
right.
other questions? I have a quick question. So
Sure.
I haven't walked down Battery Avenue, if ever, for a long time. What's on either side of that raised crosswalk? What are those properties? Are there houses there, or what's there?
There's houses, and I believe there's also apartments. Correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie. I believe there's apartments here on if you're traveling and you take a left on the right side. So it's very residential.
Very
And
much
it's a-
so.
Little low-rise apartments right in there.
Yeah.
Very, very low volume street. I would say probably maybe 22 feet wide.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's probably not even 20 feet wide, honestly.
It's coming back to me now. I've been down there. Robbie, I take it you'll have to build just something in the budget for maintenance, but it shouldn't be too expensive, right?
With the maintenance on it,
Yeah.
it'll just become, part of our maintenance schedule, which we wouldn't.
Okay. So if we approve this, will you be able to get this built in this year?
That's my hope. Again, we have to acquire some right of way, and it has from the gas station there on the corner. And there was another little slither we have to get, and we should be getting those anytime. Also, there's a big slab in front of Hamby, a big concrete slab. I can saw cut it if I need to, but it would look a lot better if they allow me to give me a construction easement and allow me to keep that one piece of concrete uniform, but that's up to them. So those are the only outstanding issues. It was that and the encroachment permit from DOT, and this was what was holding up them approving the encroachment permit.
Okay, any other questions from any member of the committee? I believe we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. We will report this out tomorrow night to City Council, and assuming they approve it, we'll report back to you that the ball's back in your court.
Okay, great.
Great, thanks. All right, next on the agenda, also Ms. Detoma, Charleston County project update.
Okay, and I believe there were 2 requests. There was one for North Bridge, and I asked Sheila. Sheila, are you on?
She is?
Okay, so we have that, and we have 2016, the Savannah Highway Capacity Improvements. So I'll let her give a brief update on the North Bridge study, and then I'll do the 2016 Savannah Highway Capacity Improvements.
Great. Well, Sheila, if you'll introduce yourself, please, because you show up just as on a screen as Sheila.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Sheila Sororian, working over here at Charleston County. I'm the project manager for the Northbridge bike and pedestrian study. I'm trying to share my screen here. I don't think I can.
We can probably give you that ability.
Yeah, I just wanted to have something to
Whoever's-
talk from.
Whoever's sharing Battery Avenue might need to unshare.
Stop
or
sharing.
share.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me try that. Give me a moment. Let's see if I can figure that out.
Just as, there you go.
There you go.
You
Okay.
did it.
Awesome.
There it is.
All right. So the Northbridge Bike Ped study is a transportation sales tax funded study. We're focused on developing a plan for a safe and equitable pedestrian crossing across the Ashley to connect North Charleston and West Ashley, to connect those communities. So this kind of shows our recent fatalities, and that's kind of been kind of fueling the fire for our recent talks about this pedestrian bridge. And up to this point, we've come up with a conceptual design for a standalone pedestrian bridge going alongside the North Bridge. And that would be on the east side of the North Bridge. But the question we're trying to answer next is kind of what direction are we going to take the multi-use path once we cross over the bridge and go into North Charleston. So our goal by the end of the year is to present to the public several different alignment options for our pedestrian bridge, and kind of which way do we want to take it into North Charleston. Once we obtain our public feedback, we'll incorporate this information into our application for the RAISE grant, which we plan to submit by July of 2022. This project has a lot of potential to receive federal monies, and already we see that it meets a lot of the qualifications that the RAISE grant asks for. In the meantime, I've been working with the DOT to work on a potential project around the North Bridge. We're trying to kind of fill in the gaps in the pedestrian kind of infrastructure, especially on the North Charleston side. So I'm working with the DOT to add bike lane improvements on Azalea. We have several destinations around the North Bridge that we're targeting for pedestrian improvements. Azalea is a major thoroughfare for pedestrian traffic to the North Bridge. So right now we're in the public outreach phase of this project, trying to gather feedback on, what do these neighborhoods want as far as, pedestrian infrastructure, sidewalks, bike lanes, all that kind of stuff on Azalea Drive. And once we get all that feedback, we can move forward with construction, hopefully. And again, public outreach is really crucial to this project. I don't know if y'all have heard yet. We have one of our advocacy groups, Charleston Moves, as you know, is putting on a police escorted bike ride on October 2nd. So that's kind of going to get the word out there about this project. And we're also going to hopefully have a survey that we're going to distribute out to people and gather more feedback. Any questions?
Any questions in the committee on this project? Can I ask one really quick question? So the idea is to build the facility on the south side of the bridge, right?
Yeah, on the east side facing,
Right.
facing towards Charleston. Yes.
So I guess one of the things you're going to have to look at, which would be great, which is also one of the most dangerous places on earth, is that merge when you get off of 26 onto Cosgrove and then trying to get across to take a
Yes.
left on Azalea. Is that part of your study? And if it's not, how can we make it part of your study?
It's not part of our study right now. that's something we can look into. I stood out here to do a little pop-up event for this, for the North Bridge, and that's when we were gathering feedback from the neighborhoods, and we saw almost 3 or 4 wrecks almost happen here, and
It's the second
It's
most frightening
dangerous.
thing. It's the second most frightening thing in that corridor. The bridge and getting across it on a bike is the first, and then that merge is absolutely frightening because so many people get off there, want to take a left on Azalea, and it's you got about
Yes.
100 yards.
Yeah, it's not in our study scope right now. We'll
Gotcha.
definitely need to look at that though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to connect Azalea to this bike pedestrian facility, you're going to have to get across Cosgrove somehow. So, and anyway, seems like a natural, at least think about it.
Yeah, and that's been brought up, and who knows, it could snowball into those improvements as well.
Great. Okay. Any other questions on this project? Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheila, John Tecklenburg here, and I just wanted to offer any assistance from our team that's working, as you know, on a similar bike ped bridge down at the T. Allen Legree Bridge, further to the south or to the east, and we're moving along with that thing. So we've got a little experience, and I must say it can be challenging, but this is much needed. And I really appreciate y'all moving this forward. I know you'll get public comment when you come up with those options about where it goes when it crosses over into North Charleston. I did want to share with you that, even though our primary project has the bike ped connection going to the south on Lockwood, we have a separate city project that's not funded yet, but it's been actually permitted. We call it the Ashley River Walk. And our hope and dream is that we will connect with the Ashley River Walk. So in effect, when our Ashley River bike ped bridge comes across, it'll go in both directions. It'll go to the south and then go under the bridge to the north. And so I know the sky might be the limit, or the funding is always a consideration, but just knowing the layout of all that as I do, I would suggest to you that maybe you do both. You go both to the south over to Ashley River Center, which I believe is going to be a future park of the Charleston County Park Service, along with under the bridge and up to Azalea over there on the north side. So, the expensive part is getting over the water. Don't get me wrong, you add a whole nother access and it adds to the cost, but just given the layout of the land up there, I certainly would highly recommend we try to do both.
Thank you, Mayor. That's a very good suggestion, and one we're going to look at as well. You're right, the most expensive part's getting over the bridge, and when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars, doing both might be just as feasible.
That's right.
And Mayor, I'll add, we just opened bids for a sidewalk on Azalea Drive all the way from Easton Street to Cosgrove at Mary Ford Elementary. So we're basically going to the food bank. So we just funded a piece of a sidewalk for that. And
Awesome.
that we opened bids on Friday for that. So you'll see that coming to construction here very soon.
That's terrific. Anyway, Sheila, if Terry or Jason or any of our team can be of any assist, please let us know.
Will do. I do appreciate that.
Great. Any other questions on this North Bridge project? If not, Sheila, I think you still have the floor, or are we handing it back over to Devery?
That's all I have.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to hearing back from you. And as the mayor said, let us know how we can help. We're here to help.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Devery, back to you.
All right, let me share my screen again. Okay, can y'all see this 17 and Dupont?
You're
No,
sharing
not yet.
No. Okay, hold on 1 minute. How about
There
now?
you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So several years back, we got approval to move forward with studying the Savannah Highway capacity improvements. And the first thing we looked at doing, just so y'all are aware of the history, is we did look at maybe doing limited access on Savannah Highway. That obviously is not appealing to the business owners along Savannah Highway. And also we found that although we know it's a major safety improvement, it really didn't help with the capacity improvements as much as we thought it would. So after looking at that, we said, well, let's look at every individual intersection that's within the study area and see how we can improve the level of service and improve capacity improvements. And we found that there were only three that we could actually do some major capacity improvements at. So I'm going to go over those three, and just so y'all are aware, we're going to put out, we're preparing a public information meeting on this project right now. So whenever we have that ready, I'll be more than happy to share with you guys before we put it out to the public. But just so y'all are aware, the first one that we saw a significant improvement in is the 17 and Dupont Road Stinson Drive intersection. And as you can see, we can improve it in the afternoon. The major improvements in the afternoon, it goes from a level of service C to a level of service B. And also with this project, what we're looking at doing is we're going to go ahead and shift the Dupont Road to approach with improved alignment. So we're going to improve the alignment here and widen to add a left turn lane. And also, as you can see, this pink is sidewalk. We're going to make the crosswalks more robust in this area as well. So that is the first one. And here you can see the roadway cost, utility location, right away. It's very, very minor. So 1.7 million for that. The next one we have is the 17 and Wahpu Road intersection. And here we're looking at, again, adding a turn lane, removing, we're adding a right turn lane in this direction. We're going to remove the concrete island. And another main point here is we're going to add an 8-foot sidewalk that connects the West Ashley Bikeway all the way to the West Ashley Greenway. That's what this second sheet is it goes all the way to the West Ashley Greenway. So that's a major improvement for the bike and ped folks. Hopefully help reduce some congestion traffic wise as well at this intersection. And again, we're going to make it more robust, adding some special emphasis crosswalks. As you can see, this again is more of an improvement in the afternoon than in the morning, but it is an improvement. And last but not least, the most significant improvement is going to be at the Avondale area. And this was a joint effort with the city of Charleston. Actually, Eric Pullman helped us with a lot of this. So he's due a lot of credit here. He got a letter of intent from the people that own this. I believe it's the JB's Philly cheesesteak place right here and then an antique store. So they're willing to work with us, and with them being able to do that and us buy that building, we're able to align Avondale Avenue up with Nicholson Street. And then we're able to provide more space in between that intersection and this Magnolia intersection, which, as you can see from a level of service standpoint, takes it from a D to a B. And then also you have an F to a B here. So that's a major improvement here. Not only will this improve with traffic, it'll improve with safety again, just being able to align this. Another major thing to look at this is we're reversing direction to improve access on this back street. So it'll be one way. And again, a lot of this was with the help of the city being able to talk to these owners and have them agree to allow us to buy this building here to make this all happen. And as you can see, we're also improving a lot of the pedestrian improvements. The pink would be all that. So this is probably the most expensive intersection out of the three. But I think it, definitely with the city getting the letter of intent from this building, I definitely think this will be a reality here soon. Are there any? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Debbie. This is great. Good news, even though none of it's on James Island. So I'm expecting you're coming my way soon. But I just had I see that you've labeled the, business names, and you still have the the Kids with Cancer thrift store. Is there any changes that we know of that the new developer of that property is doing that is gonna, change your philosophy about what happens there?
I don't really see what they're doing with this building affecting the rest of these changes. We really don't need anything from them, and
Okay.
other than this reverse direction approved access, but that wouldn't be from them. And to be honest with you, I'm not up to speed on what's going on there. I'm sure the city has more information than I do on that particular building.
Okay.
One thing we talked about earlier with Robbie was he was asking about Gerald's tires. And I think, Robbie, you said that they're not interested in relocating. So what we're doing here really doesn't affect them. If you can see, we talked about this last time we talked to him. We are kind of increasing the parking, making the parking a little bit safer here in front of I believe this might be the Mellow Mushroom and
Yeah.
some of those other buildings. So with this realignment, you can see we're actually making the parking a lot safer in this particular area and providing them an area to actually back up and come out.
Great.
I was
Having
gonna say,
parked at
backing out of there
Gerald's
is always
Tires.
interesting.
Yeah. Gerald's
What's-
Tires is accidents waiting to happen, the way
Oh,
people go in and out of there early in the morning.
Yeah, and we kind of were looking at that, and we're actually making the parking a little bit safer even for them by taking this road and realigning it. So it may be a little bit of a safety improvement. It would be nice if they wanted to relocate, but I guess they don't want to. So we're doing the best we can.
Great, thank you.
Any idea on time frame on these, Deborah, especially particularly this one?
So this project, like again, right now, Stantec is our consultant and they're working on the public information meeting, and I hope we'll have that up and running sometime in, I would suspect sometime in November. And they're putting together a scope and feed to start the design plans on this now that everyone seems to like it. But we do want to get those public comments to see if we're missing anything big as well.
Sure. Okay.
So I should have an updated schedule to you in about 2 months.
And these are all half cent sales tax projects?
They are.
Good. Our tax dollars at work.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay, any other questions? That's it, right? Those are the three?
That's it.
Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you for
This is-
keeping, oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor. Yep.
Councilmember, yeah, this is Robbie. I was going to ask Deborah if by chance she could maybe give us an update on the pitchfork off of Maybank Highway.
Let's let the
Yeah.
mayor ask his question really quick, and then we'll get on to something else, because he probably has a question about one of these three projects. Go ahead,
Or
Mayor.
did you want to answer that question first? I just wanted to thank Devery for all these things we're working on together, and offer to her, as I did with Sheila, anything we can do to help along, let us know. But thanks for the partnership. Great work.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you. And I'll brief y'all real quick. We're finalizing all the city MS4 permits on the northern. So I think we're there. I think we're
Let's just, before
finally
you get too
there.
far ahead of yourself, just so everyone on the committee knows what the question was. Northern Pitchfork, you all know where that is, right? Okay, so, sorry. I just want to make sure we know. We don't have a graphic here, so go ahead.
So as soon as we get that, we're going to get the bid package to legal and we'll be advertising. And I would suspect that will be in the next month.
Great. Long time
That's
coming on
great
that one.
news.
Yeah, and you already
Thank-
have all of that right away, correct?
We do. The only thing pending is the MS4 permit on that. And we've been working with the city stormwater department for about a year now. And I think we got everything finalized with them. I know it was, easier said than done because there's a lot of flooding in Barberry Woods and they wanted to ensure that we weren't going to take any more water that way.
Thank you
Once
for
you-
your patience.
Yeah, once you get everything up and running in terms of permitting, how long is that project going to take? It shouldn't take that long, right?
It shouldn't take that long. The nice thing about that is it's in the woods. So you don't have to deal with all the people calling and and traffic control. Traffic control is huge with it being out in the woods. I think the construction duration we have in there, if I'm not mistaken, was 15 months.
Okay.
And a lot of that is because we're putting a traffic signal at the Fenwick Alley, which is a decorative Charleston signal, and the lead time for those signals is roughly, it can go anywhere from 6 to 9 months.
Wow. You'd think that the call for traffic signals would be going down, not up around the world, but oh well. Who
The
knows?
decorative ones, there's always a lead time.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I saw Councilmember Brady had his hand up. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Deborah, you and your department, and for sticking with that, because I have a lot of constituents that are going to be very happy, as well as a lot of stakeholders in that area as well that we're looking forward to the pitchfork as well. So it's a definitely much needed project, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be excited to see that it's hopefully going to move along here relatively soon.
Yes, sir.
Great. Well, on that, keep us up to date if you don't mind too. Robbie, anything else while we've still got Mr. Toma on the phone, on the screen?
I want to thank her as well for providing an update on all these projects.
Yep. Thank you for this and for always keeping us updated. It really is super helpful for all of us to be able to report back to the citizens of Charleston what's going on with the county. So anytime you want to come back, you just let Mr. Somerville know. We'll put you number one on the agenda, and we love hearing from you. So thank you so much for all you're doing for us and for the update.
Thank you.
And we'll get
Bye-bye.
back to you on that raised elevated crosswalk after we vote on it tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Somerville, you're next on our agenda. Traffic calming update.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick update on where we are with the traffic calming. As you know, this committee approved locations earlier this year, and we have them all installed. We installed a 14-foot speed hump on Bogart Street in the Canterbury Elliott Borough. We installed Amber Hill Way, 1 speed hump, and 5 on Conservancy Lane in Carolina Bay. We did get the 22-foot raised crosswalk. It's not a crosswalk, I'm sorry. Raised speed table installed on Jackson Street. That's over there by Martin Park. And we had a couple rebuilds. We had Emerald Forest Parkway, which was requested by, I think it was Councilmember Sealy. And we had a speed hump in Country Club that needed some repair. So we took care of all those. While I was out last week on vacation, I was able to get the contractor to do some maintenance on 29 speed hump locations over in West Ashley in the West Oak Forest area. There's West Oak Forest, East Oak Forest, and the Forest Neighborhood Coalition. We got those taken care of. I'll be going out to Ashley Town, Dogwood, Beechwood, Forest Lakes area in West Ashley to continue to work on maintenance on these speed humps were installed back in 2004 and 2005. So just trying to get that maintenance plan caught up some. And that's about another 24, 25 speed humps that I'm going to get done this year. And that'll leave about 17,000 left in my account. So everything looking good as right now. Don't plan on doing any new installs this year. I'm just going to continue with the maintenance plan and request for additional funding from this year. But any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Somerville? Yes, sir. Councilmember Brady.
Less a question than a comment, but I did want to thank Robbie, you and your team, for the ones you mentioned were installed on Carolina Bay, both on my street as well as at the front of the neighborhood. I've gotten a lot of feedback from residents that especially on some of those straightaways, the speeds have been reduced significantly, which, for families with kids, especially since the weather's warm and kind of nice playing outside, it's been a big relief to them. So I want to thank you guys for that.
Any other questions for Mr. Somerville? Okay, yes, Councilmember Jackson.
Thanks. This is not a traffic calming update, but I always ask Robbie, can you tell us anything more about the remaining 2021 road resurfacing? How many streets or which ones are still left to do? And are they going to do them like, late fourth quarter into the first quarter like they normally bleed over for the 21 projects? And then do you have any update on the list for 2022? Have they started to give you any hints about that?
To be honest with you, I haven't received anything lately. I'll be happy to double check with the county and find out where we are or they are, and provide you with that update.
Okay, well, when you get an update, if you can pass that along, that would be great. Anything else? Any other questions for Mr. Somerville? Welcome back. All right, I know that Councilmember Jackson has something she wants to discuss, so we're into our discussion phase. We've got a few minutes left, so Councilmember Jackson, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I just, I was making notes. These are like two of the, well, one, I would like us to be cognizant and maybe have a little report that could be circulated or however we could do that. And I know most of the answer is CARTA, but I was talking to an educator who works with kids in the West Side neighborhood, and they're studying a unit on all things hurricane, and not only what causes them and all the environmental impacts and things like that, but just how to go through how to live through a hurricane as a resident of the peninsula in particular, and in a disadvantaged neighborhood that, you know, a lot of people don't drive. So it made me think that we don't really hear about evacuation plans for people that aren't able to just get in their car and follow the governor's instructions or whatever we would be, you know, issuing out of our own emergency management departments. So I would like to put that on. Then the chairman had said, yes, of course, CARTA is the go-to transit entity for neighborhoods that need to be evacuated without cars. But I would like to know a little more detail if possible.
So one of the things I think after you talked to me today, I thought about, we probably need to chat with Mr. Scaff about that too. I think that really resides mostly in his office, although I know that Mr. Somerville and his team would have some input, and the mayor's team obviously too. So let's see what we can get out of them, get something to you, and then see if we need to have further discussion about it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then my other thing is an ongoing drumbeat here on James Island, and I'm sure anywhere we have car-centric eateries, retail, we are just suffering from the drive-through use that literally backs up traffic. Trying to get into the drive-throughs, people don't feel at all compelled to not just stand in the, you know, have their car sitting in the road stacked, waiting their turn to get into the parking lot to go into a drive-through, and it's very much of a public safety hazard. And then the you know, the law enforcement is just pretty powerless to do anything. So I've been trying, the worst offender out here near me is the Starbucks on Folly Road and Rivers Point Row. And you have to turn into Rivers Point Road to go into their parking lot where the drive-through begins. And people literally just, you know, I watch them. I go there and film the traffic every couple of weeks on a Saturday morning, and people make a right turn from Folly thinking they're just going to be able to whip around the corner. I mean, and they can't, they're stopped. So people back up on Folly Road, and the same thing coming in from the left. Chick-fil-A on the other side of that intersection creates the same bottlenecks, and DOT could really be reworking both of those side streets with that, not to have a median. So at least people would be able to go around cars that feel at liberty to stack themselves in the road. But I think we need to be aware of this as a committee, and maybe, you know, make some course correction when we agree to establish a drive-through. The chairman and I were thinking, well, it probably starts with planning and then it goes into TRC by the time they get their site permit for whatever, you know, establishment's going to have a drive-through. But it really is more and more of a problem as people are sitting in their cars longer and using the roads, you know, with more people.
Robbie, you sit on TRC, correct? Or someone from your office does.
No, sir. Yeah. Mr. Wallace, who's out sick today, he represents us at TRC.
No,
years ago when I was on TRC, we used to, you know, require a traffic study to be done whenever there was a drive-through. I'm just curious, is that lobby open for that Starbucks?
Yes.
Wow. A lot of the problems I see is when, the lobbies are closed and that's all you have is a drive-through, and it causes traffic to back up. So.
Well, it just seems to me it's something to put on TRC's radar as people make application for drive-throughs in the COVID and post-COVID world. Even with lobbies opening up, people like to stay in their car, but the drive-throughs with lobbies closed are really busy.
Yes.
So anyway, let's keep an eye on that. I don't know that there's any action that we can take directly, but having TRC be conscious of it is probably a very good idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else from any other member of the committee? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We will see you all tomorrow.